You're listening to The Great and Secret Knowledge, a speculative fiction podcast. I'm Jeff, and with me, once again, Sofia. How are you?
I am well. How are you?
I am also well. It is a good day. I had a donut and some coffee. Now I'm moved on to tea. And yeah, it's pretty good. That's enough pleasantries. Shall we commence? It's Star Trek The Next Generation, Season 1, Episode 14, 11001001. How about that for a title?
Is it, I wasn't totally sure about it. Is it the name of the woman in the, or was it like the name of the Bynars people, the four that were there?
I had meant to Google translation for that number. 11001001. So somebody on Reddit figured something out. I'm checking it out. It's their names, no 110001 and 10. It could be the four Bynars. Somebody says there's no way to interpret it because they may have used a different interpreter in the 24th century. Another person says Unicode doesn't exist in the 1980s. Yeah, there's nothing.
Oh, okay. But interesting because it seemed like it was supposed to be such a revelation, like, oh, it's this one. So, I mean, it could be like they said that it's the names of the four aliens. But I thought it would be somehow related to the woman. So maybe it was like they knew that that was the binary translation of the woman's name.
Okay, I looked up the Wikipedia page. The name is a binary number, a concatenation of the names of the Bynars.
Okay.
Interesting.
But why did they need a password? Like, just make the file. Or it wasn't even a password. They needed to know the file name. So why not just like leave a post-it and be like, oh, this is the file name,
if
by the way.
If you're going to do it that way, put their name on their damn jumpsuit. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Make them real big in a different color so we get the contrast.
I would love if that was in the second scene they were in. They had like these huge numbers, and they were like, "Do you know that our names are these? Remember?"
Yeah, mid-episode exposition. Oh, hello 10. Hello 01, and so forth. I thought it meant Minuet, but clearly not. And the annoying part is the whole time I thought they were setting up that the password would be Minuet. Spoiler alert, it is not.
Yeah, that's also what I meant, that I thought it was somehow related to that. Yeah. But I like this one overall. It was just a little bit like you feel like they could have. It was a lot of interesting things, but they kind of skated past each other. You know, it was like not everything was connected. It was just like, coming to almost interact.
Yeah, it felt like a sort of episode soup. Let me look at the writers here. Gene Roddenberry, Maurice Hurley, Robert Lewin. Let's see what they're known for. I think we've looked up Maurice Hurley before. Oh, he wrote 46 episodes. So, yeah, he wrote Data Lore, Angel One. So Gene Roddenberry probably came up with the idea. Maurice Hurley fleshes it out. And then Robert Lewin, let's see here, 25 episodes. So he might be their script doctor. He's there the first 2 seasons. He might be the guy that died. I'm not sure.
Oh.
He was only there the first 2 seasons. Yeah, so it is pretty good. Yeah, I was going to skip it because I hate the Bynars.
Oh, no. Why
they just
they hate
annoy
them?
me for some reason. Some weird bias. But Minuet is in the thumbnail on the website, on the page for the episode. So I was like, Minuet, I love her. So that's why we're doing this. It begins with this lovely diagonal shot of the Enterprise as it moves towards the starbase. They're located above Tarsus 3. And we learn that their holodeck has been on the fritz. So they're going to get some upgrades.
They talk a lot about the logistics, about how they were late to this upgrade and such. And is this something that carried over from a previous episode, or is it just totally contained in this one? Do you remember?
I don't remember. I know they tried to avoid specific references to other episodes because they syndicated it, so they wanted it to be able to be jumbled in reruns. But supposedly it was planned to come right after The Big Goodbye, in which the holodeck was acting up, so that they could be like, oh, the holodeck's acting up, so we're going to get it fixed. I noticed there's this cool sound as the Enterprise enters the starbase. I had to go to some friends and be like, what's this cool sound and what does it signify? And one person suggested maybe as the ship goes through a force field, it makes a noise. But of course, there's no noise in the vacuum. So unless they keep the hangar bay oxygenated, I don't know why they would, but in sci-fi, they're always giving us sounds in the vacuum, even though they wouldn't actually travel.
Yeah. I know the creators of The Expanse, they said that, the sound, it comes from the same place as the music. Like, it's fine.
I love that. It's part of the soundtrack. So Riker is managing the movements. He says something about mooring beams. So I'm thinking that must be some kind of tractor beam to get you to sync up the walkway and the airlock. In stuff like The Expanse, it takes forever to join up 2 ships because they have to in real life with astronauts, it's a whole Byzantine process.
That's true. They have to kind of get them all in the same direction and everything.
Yeah, there's a whole episode of For All Mankind in which they sync up with a Russian vessel, and it's like the diciest maneuver because they have their own specs. Like one uses the metric system for, so that's a whole deal.
Yeah, I think I remember it kind of generally.
So Picard praises Riker and the crew, even though it seems like this has to be a pretty standard operation.
Yeah, it was so crazy in the beginning, and I was afraid that they would fight or something. That's why it was supposed to be such a build-up that it's like they were getting along so well.
I love that. That's an interesting idea. Like maybe a show in a later season would play with that kind of contrast.
Yeah, maybe it is a little bit like me being cynical or something. Like, why would you show someone praising someone unless it's supposed to be like some kind of build up for trouble.
Yeah.
But like it's what like you see is said, it seemed a little bit over the top. So then I thought that maybe it was supposed to mean something more.
My headcanon is that it signifies that Picard is settling in with the crew and like they have a good rapport, so he's sort of speaking freely. He doesn't have to be quite so buttoned up. We see these interesting aliens walking with some humans. And I noticed this episode's direction, like its shot composition, is much more stylish than we're used to. And so I looked up the director, and he had a ton of credits. Directed by Paul Lynch. Let's see, he did Prom Night with Jamie Lee Curtis and Leslie Nielsen. Bunch of movies I've never heard of. And bunch of TV shows I've never heard of. He did Murder, She Wrote, Moonlighting, The Ray Bradbury Theater, Twilight Zone, Beauty and the Beast, which was a fun show from the 80s. Where like mutants or maybe just ordinary unhoused people lived underground, and there was a lion face guy played by Ron Perlman.
Oh, I didn't even know what the plot was for that one. I just heard it. I think that George R. R. Martin wrote for it.
Oh, nice. That's fun. Yeah, this guy did Sliders, FX the series, Xena, all kinds of stuff. So yeah, he's got his own style. And I didn't catch any bad acting, so he's good with actors as well. Let's see. They go to the airlock, they meet the locals. Commander Quinteros with his white goatee. And there's these small purple people in shiny, silly outfits.
Yeah. I just wanted to say what you talked about the director, that I also felt like there were more sets on this episode than usual, but it could have just been that the director was better at showing them off, maybe, so that it felt like there were more. Because when they had like the airlock, I felt like, ooh, it's an airlock. Like, we haven't seen this.
Yeah, with that circular door. I swear there's one of those in something I just watched recently.
Do you mean something that came out recently? Oh, okay.
Who knows? I've been watching so much sci-fi lately. I think it might have been Data Lore when they went down to the planet. Yeah, I think that's what it was. Circular door. Let's see. So we got these purple people. Riker calls them gentlemen. And in today's context, that seems a little presumptuous.
Yeah, the other captain says like, oh, they are pairs. So I don't know. Did that mean that they are they pronouns, or what would that mean? They are not gentlemen because of this.
I don't know if we ever nailed down a pronoun for them. I think they always just say the Bynars. But I've got it running, so we'll see how it goes. They're not gentlemen or ladies. They are a unified pair.
I mean, couldn't they be both? Is my question, but
like
maybe
one person he, one person she.
I guess, okay, so is it like the idea maybe that one is a he and one is a she, and then because of that they, or are they just, because the way that they say it is like, no, because they're pairs, they can't have gender. And I don't feel like that's big enough explanation. So maybe it meant to be like they're kind of a pair of man or woman or something.
Interesting. Could be. They're so androgynous that I couldn't pick out, more masculine or feminine traits, which I think is a success for the episode. To like they could have made the pairs vastly divergent in a way to make it obvious, whereas they made them kind of interchangeable.
Yeah, and I agree. It's like it doesn't feel like they are very clearly one gender or something. So it does feel like they're a little bit. Oh, is it like that they are non-binary because they're Bynars?
Yeah. So they've got interesting ways to show that they're separate. Their silver streaks go down the opposite shoulder, and their little neural jobby that's on their brain, the silver thing, is on different sides of their heads. And one seems slightly more strong-jawed than the other. So yeah, they may be going with that kind of thing. Now I'm just staring at it. Also, I notice one ear is a lot like a human's ear, and the other one is like two big circles.
Oh, that's strange.
Look for that. Picard praises them for their, I don't know, their skill, and they split up their sentences. I noticed that Riker says they have to be somewhere in 48.6 hours. It's very specific.
Yeah. That's a very specific schedule. Is that the sadness of the future? That it's like they have this very good technology and then they use it to be like schedule so that they're like, we must arrive exactly at this point, and it's like everything is just maximum efficiency.
I mean, maybe that's one of the differences between Starfleet and the rest of the Federation. Like, because if there's no money and no need, because they have replicators and transporters, like Starfleet would have to have really strict rules so people just don't go like island time and relax and show up whenever they feel like it.
Yeah, that might be. So it's like totally different. What would you say? Society.
Also, it's 0.6 hours, so they've gone to the metric system for hours.
Ooh, I like it. I mean, I guess you're right. It's like, because otherwise he wouldn't say it like that. He would be like, say, or unless it's like 0.6 means like 6 minutes.
Oh, it could be. So it goes from 48.0 to 48.59.
Yeah.
We'll have to look out for that rest of the series.
We'll have to see if they're consistent with their metric system then. Like, they're never going to say seconds ever because they have their metric system for their hours.
There's a funny quote. They work quickly, but it will be very tight.
They work very quickly, but it'll be very tight.
That one's just for the pervs in our audience. So Picard and Riker are going down the corridor. They're free to relax because the Bynars are going to take care of all the work. Then Picard gives some exposition about them, how they think in Bynar or binary. And they've linked up with their computers, so they think faster than humans or whatever.
Yeah. They did seem quite nervous, I felt like, in the beginning.
Oh, they're shady. They're up to something, obviously. He says he's going to his cabin to relax, and he asks Riker what he does to relax. And Riker is just like, take them as they come, totally flow-based. So I thought that was funny, how he's so, like, by the book and precise at work, but then he just, like, grooves after.
Yeah, but I could see it, if he's so focused on his work so that he doesn't really, like, he doesn't take any energy to plan out his free time. He doesn't have any, what would you call it? Like, he doesn't prioritize it. So he's just like, oh, now I have free time. What should I do? Like, doesn't matter.
Yeah, he likes that unstructured time.
Yeah,
the
maybe
holodeck is great for that.
Yeah. Do you think that you could go in and be like surprise, like give surprise, or just like if you do different things, you could just have it be like have the algorithm show you something and be like, okay, I like this one.
Oh, like he could have, when the computer asked him what he could have just said, surprise me.
Yeah. But it should be like to his taste, so that they just like look at everything and then be like, oh, maybe you like this one. And then it would throw in some weird thing.
In a way, that's what happens to Picard when he walks in on Riker. He gets surprised.
Yeah. I mean, they should have a lock on the holodeck. I don't feel it's...
Oh, my God. It's like nobody cares about privacy in the 21st century.
No, they don't.
Don't you knock?
And Riker walked in on the doctor as well. But I don't know if maybe she was in her office. It was unsure for me.
Oh, yes, she was in her office, that one.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe she was in her apartment.
So up on the bridge, Riker is watching Wesley watch the Bynars. And they've doubled. There's an extra pair. And they all seem a little bit shifty. We are stacking to reconfigure the computer more efficiently. Yeah. So Riker is suspicious. Wesley suggests maybe their strange behavior is a cultural difference. But he's got his eye on him. So I had to ask, does this mean that Riker now trusts Wesley's judgment after Data lore when he was calling out Data's behavior?
Yeah, I think that could be. At least that it's shown, overall it's gonna increase. I don't know if it's calling back to a specific episode, but over time.
Yeah, slow process. Oh, it looks like all of the Bynars were played by female actors, as far as I can tell from their names. But who knows about gender from names anymore? Let's see. So Riker, the next scene, Riker's marching down the hallway and he checks somebody out. Like right out of commercial. He looks back and he's like, oh, hey there. He meets Worf, Yar, and a couple randos. Yar invites him to play Parisi Squares with them, but he declines.
They didn't have the set for it.
Of course not. I don't know if we ever see the Parisi Squares court until Lower Decks, maybe, which is a cartoon.
Is it like, I always imagine it's like a squash, but maybe it's because of the Expanse where they play some kind of squash. But
they have they play squash or handball, they call it, in Deep Space Nine. And that's a kind of a smaller chamber. I think I've heard that Parisi Squares has like center hoops and like approaches, like 4 different quadrants. That's why you have 4 players. And they I don't know, work all, like they can walk around the whole court. But they can also like hit each other with the ball, or maybe they have sticks. I'm not sure. Apparently it's dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah, there would be a lot of options and in some ways there wouldn't be a lot of options, but in some ways it would be if you're in a spaceship, because you could play around probably with gravity, so you could make some kind of weird gravity games, but then you wouldn't have a lot of room, but still.
Well, in starships, because they don't have to go in atmosphere, they often are bigger than they need to be, so they might have a lot of void space.
That could be nice if they have some space that they can do like sports in. But it seems like it's all indoors. That's why they have the holodeck, so that they can get some fake nature. So it's not going to be like some kind of huge like field, like grass field or something.
Yeah. They're going on the starbase. The starbase could have plenty of space as well. But yeah,
that's true.
The idea of a holodeck letting one player be on the ground and the other one be like 100 feet up if it's a low gravity game. Like, how would the holodeck trick you into thinking there's that much distance between you.
Oh, yeah. Does everybody see the same hologram? It seems like that way. You can't just give people different holograms like they're in a VR or something.
I think that might be a little too confusing for 1988.
Yeah.
But that's a great idea. I'll write that down. Separate. Well, I think that's what happened in a recent Strange New Worlds episode, because we find out that, spoiler alert, Spock was a computer hologram, and the real Spock was nowhere to be found. So my headcanon was that he was being shunted off on his own version of the game, and maybe the person he thought was a regular Starfleet wasn't. But then Spock would have seen right through that. So yeah, that one had a bit of a plot hole. It's been haunting my dreams ever since. How to make the holodeck make sense. So Worf is all about that competition. He goes, "Rest assured, Commander, we will be victorious at whatever the cost." And Riker's like, "Dude, it's for fun."
It's just a game, a friendly little competition. You work up a sweat, you have a few laughs, and you make new friends.
If winning is not important, then Commander, why keep score?
Good question.
And Yar thinks Worf is developing a sense of humor. There's this weird moment where once they're around the corner, Riker still has this suspicious look on his face, as if his just regular walking around behavior is somebody's up to something. So some lights go off and he asks the computer what's going on, and it says unoccupied sections are being closed down to make room for the updates. And it says full power can be restored if needed. And he's like, that's interesting. And he walks off.
Yeah. It is also like an 80s thing where, or I guess the 90s as well, but like that they turn off the lights and it saves a lot of energy. And now we're just like, doesn't matter.
Oh, like when you leave a room a lot of times.
Yeah, just the idea that you
on.
would like turn off the lights in a section of the ship and that would make a difference. I mean, I understand that probably also other functions are turned off, but just the way that the light switch is something that is has an effect on the power usage. Well, nowadays it's such a minuscule part of the energy consumption.
Yeah, and especially in the 24th century when you've got this basically perpetual energy machine in the engine.
Oh yeah, that's true. So they are like, it's more about somehow the light is needing computer power. Maybe it's like the light sensors. They are very sophisticated.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's something in Star Trek about. I lost it. Something about sensors. Oh, about how there's the power system. You can shunt power to different parts of the machine of the ship to like bulk up shields in one particular area, or to like amplify the disruptor, things like that, to like increase inertial dampeners, things like this. And it suggests that power flow is like infinite between systems. Like here in the real world, you got to have all kinds of like compressors and transistors and all this junk to like make sure that power flows properly and increases at the correct speed and everything. Otherwise you get shorts.
That's true. So what do we know what power source the ship uses?
Yeah, its main power source is the antimatter, what do you call it? Warp engine. But it probably has like a secondary motor somewhere in case that goes down. So LaForge and Data are in Data's quarters. Data is painting. And they have a nice little chat. And then Riker says some like ableist ass shit on his way out the door. He's like, this could enter the history books. A blind man teaching an android to paint. And Geordi looks so pissed. Yeah, so next scene is Riker comes into Crusher's office and she's packing up a bunch of stuff. And I just love Dr. Crusher. She's so excited. Yeah. Excited to meet this Epstein guy.
Yeah, she is. Or is it Epstein? I was like...
Oh, I had the sound off when I was taking notes. Yeah, it's probably Epstein.
But I don't know if that is a difference. Is it spelled the same? I don't know. Because I was going to make like Epstein jokes, but then I wasn't sure if it was the same name.
It is spelled the same, yes. It's funny, I was just seeing there's a politician running somewhere who has the same name, and somehow it made the news. It's silly. In The Expanse, the guy that made Warp, like, or whatever they call it, fusion engines, his name is Epstein, the Epstein drive.
Yeah, and it was funny because they had... I remember back when the show was airing, there was someone who made like some memes that was like, Solomon Epstein didn't kill himself, you know, and then a lot of people got mad. It was like, you cannot joke about that. And it was like,
I mean, you can, but it's in poor taste.
But so they were like, kind of, because there was the episode when, you know, they show the character's death, and then they were like,
right, yeah, he floated off into the great beyond.
Yeah,
nobody ever went out and got him. Strange.
I don't think they could catch him.
Yeah, The Expanse doesn't have Star Trek warp technology.
Yeah, maybe they could find him in the future, like. But then he would be dead, so.
Yeah, once they have those spoiler alert Stargates.
They just pick him up like 1,000 years later. Oh, look at this. Like a cultural heritage.
Yeah, there's a great episode of Voyager like that where they find an old ship that got lost and the body of the guy that was piloting it. So Riker is mildly amused at Crusher's excitement. There's more Bynars in the corridor outside the holodeck. So I think the ear on one side is normal and the ear on the other side is this wild 2-hole one. They talk by slightly opening their mouths and sending like data sounds at each other. And then there's something on their belt that, like, I don't know, buffers the information and they access it when they want. Riker selects jazz. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that I do like their language. It's very fun. You know, it's like.
Yeah, I think this was back when you had to have a modem to get on.
Oh, yeah.
Onto the internet or whatever it was called back then. So he selects jazz, 1958, New Orleans, Bourbon Street, 2 a.m. Door opens and he likes what he sees. He walks in there. Very good indeed.
Yeah, it made me think about like when you could choose any like if you could choose any setting, like what to choose. But what would you choose?
I mean, PG, I'd find a big library. Otherwise, it'd be something else. But yeah, big library with every book ever written. That'd be fun. Maybe servants that bring out coffee and pastries. Big high back chairs.
Yeah, but do they have food in the holodeck? I haven't thought about that. They drank the wine, so
Yes. Yeah. It uses replicators to make the food.
but it can't be live food.
Right. It couldn't be Klingon worms.
Oh no, the Klingons can never eat in the holodeck. How racist. Maybe they can bring in some prepared.
If it was Klingons, it could transport them from the kitchen, from the galley, and transport the bowls of worms into the simulation.
Yeah, totally. So if they made like sprouts, that wouldn't work then because they are alive. Or maybe they will like just maybe they will recreate somehow the sprouts, but they are not actually alive.
Yeah,
Just the
definitely.
same combination of cells. It seems very arbitrary. If they like, what would be the difference between being alive and being the same thing? Maybe something about like the spark of life. It's not there.
Yeah, plus you'd have to have a refrigerated storage area to keep all your live foods.
But I was thinking they would just create life, if they can make food that you eat and it somehow is real. Or does it disappear when you leave the holodeck?
Right, yeah, it's the spark of life. Yeah. Oh, you know what'd be funny is as soon as you leave the holodeck, all the alive stuff like drops onto the floor and somebody has to go in and like clean it all up and shove it into a trough or something.
Yeah. I mean, they would have to have some kind of cleaning, in there. So makes sense anyways.
Unless they just dissolve everything with the... Yeah. You hope you didn't leave your dog in there or something.
Yeah. Watch out.
So he summons some musicians and an audience. And then he goes, I was thinking of something a little more intimate. And that's when you realize, oh, Riker's here to get something going. I was thinking he wants someone to impress with his trombone playing.
Yeah. I found, I guess we'll get to it, but I found it creepy.
Oh, no. Well, I will say, I don't want to speak for all men, but there is something about having someone there to tell you how good you are at something and to like listen to you go on and on about your passions. So makes sense. It's sort of like mental masturbation.
Yeah, it's like in the Barbie movie where they all play guitar to the women.
Oh no, I have to pull that clip out again. Oh my god. Oh, I wanna put you around. Well, I will. I wanna push you down. He says blondes and jazz seldom go together, and I was like, dude, rude.
I don't know any of the cliches.
Voyager redeems that by having an episode where 7 of 9 sings jazz.
Wrong. Would it be wrong to kiss, seeing I feel like this?
Which is really good. 7 of 9's a former Borg. He says he wants her to be more sultry, and I had to go to the internet to find out what sultry means in the context of a person, and apparently it just means like sizzling with horniness, or I don't know, a blazing look.
Yeah, for some reason I was thinking like duck lips because it's just like.
Oh, he says, oh, and then he calls him gentlemen. Oh, Riker, you've got some work to do. He says, gentlemen, if this is the enhancement, if this is what you call enhancement, you've got a gift for understatement.
What are you supposed to call it? I found it. Like Is it like perfection, they should say?
Yeah. So I think sultry in this context means she stares right at him with a lot of mascara and like a come let's have sex look on her face.
Yeah, and like a weird posture. Like who sits like who's hanging around in a bar like that? It's like, oh, or sprawled on the bar. Or like onto, I don't know, leaning against it.
But I'm embarrassed to say it would work on me too. It's almost like saying, come sit next to me and we can hug. And Minuet is instantly jazzed for Riker. He says, what kind of music do you like? She says, I like all jazz except Dixieland. And he says, why not Dixieland? And she says, because you can't dance to it. And he says, my girl. And that's apparently some sexism play.
Why? Because you're supposed to want to dance? Or is it like...
Oh, just the the implied possession and girl. But everybody back then called younger women girl, so...
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of okay with it because I think the joke is kind of... I assume that he doesn't like that kind of jazz or something, and then she said something that he agrees with. So then he's kind of like... It felt more like jokey to me than to be like something very serious. So therefore,
totally.
It's fine.
Like if a man had said it, he would have been like, my guy or my man. But it made me think about how AI, I don't really mess with AI, but I know this is how it works, is that it tries to anticipate your feelings about a thing, your thoughts about a thing. And the algorithm or whatever, like kind of would tell you what you want to hear, which is a lot of ways makes it not useful in many ways, but for a sex simulation, it's pretty damn useful.
That's true. I mean, that is interesting, actually. It's like, but I don't know. There's too much like AI stuff that we could unpack here. So I don't know. Maybe I will get too much off topic because just maybe that's part of why I found it creepy, because it's like I have heard all these different stories by now where people are like having the ChatGPT, and having like some people have like ChatGPT psychosis because the ChatGPT told them like such weird things, and they're like, they told me that I am a chosen star child, and I guess I was a little bit like weirded out by the idea that this holodeck maybe would encourage such things, so that is part of it as well.
Yeah, and we know from regular life that the ubiquity of porn in all its forms has affected the way its users approach sex. So like if a holo program with AI could do the same thing, it would be even, I don't want to say worse, but like the effect would be increased.
Yeah. And I think that the idea that it's so real, that it's like that it would be really hard to not feel like it's, even if logically, like your emotions would feel like it's real. So I think they would totally affect your behavior. You would be like, if you spend a lot of time with this kind of AI, like woman, you would be like, okay, like now I'm used to this kind of interactions, and it would make weird interactions with others, I feel like.
Absolutely. Riker says, what's a knockout like you doing in a gin joint like this? And she says, waiting for you. And it's pretty clear that she is down to clown. She's like already touching him. He's so smitten. The Bynars are doing their thing and they look at each other like, ooh, and they say some shit and they take off. Up on the bridge, Wesley asks the Bynars about their high-pitched sound communication. That's when they explain their belt buckle buffer things. Picard comes in, asks after Riker, and
Why
then
does
heads
he
down
come
to the
in?
holodeck. I assume he was in his ready room, and he just wanted to get a lay of the land before he goes for his break.
Ah, okay. Because the thing is, it was confusing to me because I felt like they were heading off and be like, okay, now we're going on a break. And then like right after he comes back, like, where's Riker? I'm like, you just went on the break. Give him some time. And then he just comes into the holodeck and it's like interrupting his break. I feel like that's rude.
I think here's my headcanon is he could just ask the computer where Riker is, but he likes to make conversation. So he talks to Wesley because he's a acting officer and he wants to keep a rapport going. And then he could just ask, what is Riker doing? But instead he wants to be surprised because Riker is into unstructured play. So yeah, he's going to surprise him and see what's going on. Not expecting Riker to be boning down with a computer. Oh, that was an unintentional pun because Riker is playing a trombone.
Oh, yeah. And he does call it a bone. Is that a thing? I don't know.
Well, I never heard it as a kid, but when I played trombone, but well, no, I guess sometime people would make boner jokes.
But that's maybe just, I don't know if that is sanctioned by the jazz community.
Sanction. Oh man.
Did you play in the jazz on the trombone?
I was in the jazz band.
Fun.
In my sophomore year. And I just ran into a trombonist at my 30-year high school reunion. Jeff Bryant, shout out to Jeff. I don't know if he was in jazz band, but this girl I had a massive crush on was in the next chair next to me, Abby Cooper. Whoops, I transposed 2 students at Gig Harbor High. I'm thinking of Abby Snodgrass, of course, who played trombone and was on the girls' basketball team. She was great. What's up, Abby? Hit me up. Sorry. So Riker's got his trombone. He's got this mellow melody going on. Definitely made me miss my tromboning days. And the musicians are like, hey, check out that lady. She digs you. She's got these glittery diamonds. There's smoke going by. And the piano guy totally clowns on Riker. He's like, don't give up your day job. So he's talking to Minuet, and he's like, you're too real. Too real is too right. She's trying to get to know him. He says, how far can this relationship go? Fascinating.
Yeah.
She says, I'm as real as you need me to be. He starts to split, and she says, your work's very important to you. She asks him for a dance. They get real close. And I just had to state for the record that this is very sexy. She's doing everything a lady could capture me with, asking about his passions, you know. It's very attractive. He loves working on this ship with this crew. It's like a dream come true. And then he tells her she's a holo character, and she doesn't seem surprised at all.
Mm. Oh, yeah, that's true. It's very different from in the other, where they were so confused and, you know, what do you call it? Like getting this kind of existential crisis.
Yeah, it's like they're programmed not to think about it too much unless they're confronted with I don't know. I still don't. That was a holodeck screw up, if I remember correctly. So Riker and Minuet start macking. Picard comes in, and Riker definitely needs to turn on those privacy controls.
Yeah, and Picard should have left, you know? If he opens the door,
Well, he
okay,
starts
now.
to. He's like,
No,
he
but
feels bad for interrupting.
It was way too late. He should have opened the door. Oh, no, okay, sorry.
I mean, what if Riker had been in, Jesus.
Yeah. But maybe it's like they work so closely. You cannot have, to be too prude about such things. It's just like, hello, how's it going?
So he introduces Minuet to Picard. She can speak fluent French. She says, "We are all Parisians." And he says, "The spirit of that city enchants my soul."
Yeah, I get to practice my French.
Have you ever been to Paris?
Yeah, several times.
I've never been.
It's nice, but it's very, I was going to say it's very similar to Stockholm, but that's not true. Stockholm is very similar to Paris in that we copied a lot of Paris. Like just the general principles of the buildings and such. It's similar. So then, therefore, for me, it feels very pleasant and comfortable.
Yeah. So Minuet in this moment does something that it's talking about real, like a partner should do, which is like, oh, I was looking forward to meeting your boss. And like softening up the boss for her partner, It seemed very high level social activity.
Yeah, that's true.
She praises the captain for setting the tone, and he compliments her back. The sophistication of this program is remarkable.
In what way?
The holodeck has given us woodlands and ski slopes, figures that fight, and fictional characters with whom we can interact, but you're very different. You adapt. You spoke to me in French.
It was very simple. When I heard your name, I merely accessed the foreign language bank.
That's very impressive.
Oui, monsieur.
Now, do you think Minuet was trying to seduce both of them?
I think that she was, the way that they show it later is that she's trying to keep both of them there. But I don't think that, so it could be, she's just trying to make it as pleasant for them as possible. I don't know if it's like, it's only to stall for time, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be nice if she had stayed on the show to see like what her deal is when she's not trying to manipulate them.
Yeah, that's true. So did she die when the Bynars, Bynars, when they left?
I don't think she ever really existed.
But they talk in the previous time, about the people and like, oh, do we exist outside of this, So I feel like there is a question there, if they're alive or not. So.
Oh man, they should have put something at the end of the episode about like, is it possible she's alive somewhere?
She's alive in like the Bynar computer.
Yeah.
And that is like the end of the series. Riker goes to there to like be with her to the Bynar planet.
Well, see, on Bynar, she's two people, probably.
Ah, yeah.
Interesting.
And then maybe she doesn't have any partner because she has the other Bynar person.
Oh man, this is getting wild. So, back in Data's quarters, he's awaiting inspiration. Wesley calls up, says something's happening in engineering. He says, "Can you come to the bridge?" And Geordi's like, "Fuck that, we're going straight to engineering." So I'm not sure why Wesley wanted them to come to the bridge, other than to, I don't know, command the Bynar to stop doing whatever they're doing, maybe.
Yeah, or maybe he just felt like all the decisions are made at the bridge or something, that he thought that they should be there too. And then they are more experienced, so they realize, no, we can just go to where the problem is, and then we can do whatever from there.
Yeah. So Data and Geordi go into engineering. There's nobody there. Geordi says, we're getting strange readings from the antimatter containment. Something like that. Data can't raise the captain. He says if containment is lost, the ship will be destroyed. They have 4 minutes and 18 seconds to fix the problem.
And I was confused at this point because I realized there was so much left on the episode, so I wasn't sure what this weird timer was. You know, clearly it would be more than 4 minutes until the conflict was solved.
Yes, the episode gets really slow. Like, what do you call it? What do they call that? Slow-mo.
Yeah. Or they could show like each person, like what did they do for these 4 minutes? And it's just like very complicated. Everybody's doing separate things or something.
Yeah, you stagger them and like in that last second, they all come together.
Oh, yeah.
So Data tells Wesley to alert the starbase. He says to send the ship to a maximum distance. He tells everyone to abandon ship. Everybody's confused, but they're hustling down the corridors. The Bynars look at each other in their strange Bynarian way. As everyone's leaving, I noticed at one point a child fell down.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that was like an extra, just having an accident, or
I didn't even think about that. I thought that it was planned because it was meant to be such a rush, but I think you could be right that it was just like, you should run, and then someone falls and then they keep the shot. I think that sounds nice. But it's also like interesting for me because I always feel like Data is the MVP. He's just like, no, I know I'm right. Like, no question, no hesitation.
Mm-hmm.
We talked before we started the episode that Troi is not there, but I feel like also Data maybe should not be there sometimes because he is too capable. He's like, he will solve everything.
This is another episode without Troi. What the hell is going on?
Yeah, where's she out at?
She'd be like, Captain, these Bynars are up to some bullshit.
Yeah, I feel like that. She will just solve things too quickly. But they don't really explain why she's not there. Like, people just leave for vacation.
So we see Wesley transport out with some folks, and they have 20 transporter rooms. Throughout the history of Star Trek, I figured they have like 3 or 4. No, they have 20. So with 6 positions on the pad times 20, they could move 120 people in like 10 seconds or whatever.
I didn't really get this. Sorry, yeah, finish.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I didn't totally get this. Are they evacuating only by the transporter, or did they also have like some live ships?
I think it's only by transporter because they had to get away from the station.
Yeah, and if they have somewhere to transport to, I think it makes sense. Maybe if they were out in the space really far away, they couldn't really.
Right.
But they could.
Yeah.
Wait, why did they have to do that though? Couldn't they? Oh, maybe that doesn't work. I was gonna say, couldn't they undock the the saucer part, and then go with the rest?
The sausage section. There's just like a Polish chef, like, manning some controls. Yes, no, they never do it. It's because the special effect costs too much, so they never They never
but just
do that
do
shit.
it off screen, then you don't have to show it. I feel like a lot of shows, they are too obsessed with showing everything. Like, you can apply stuff, At least in Sweden, they did a lot of these silly effects where they couldn't afford to do real ones.
Mm-hmm. I think in this situation, it would have solved the problem because the Bynars were in the saucer section. So if the battle bridge just takes off, they have no nacelles. I don't know if they have warp creators. No, because they wouldn't even have the warp engine. So yeah, they'd just be assed out. Episode over.
Yeah.
Let's see here. In Starbase Ops, Worf and Yar join Crusher. Data gives a little log. All decks are empty. He says the captain is usually the last to leave, so he's a bit skeptical, but he and Geordi end up leaving the ship without the captain and Riker. They arrive in ops with the others.
4 minutes is way too short. You cannot evacuate the ship.
Well, let's see. Assuming, like, say, 20% win on shore leave, that would leave 800 people, because it's usually about 1,000 people on the Enterprise. If they can ship 120 people every 20 seconds, say, times that by 5 or 6, yeah, they could do that in 2 minutes. It would be an extremely difficult task to manage all those children and
but I mean, I cannot talk about the teleportation specifically, but I'm just saying, like, they have no warning. They're just like in their quarters, and then they're supposed to, in less than 4 minutes, get to the teleportation station. Like, what if someone is pooping or something? They don't have time to just like.
Okay, well, they never address how pooping works on Star Trek.
They don't poop in the future.
Some believe that they transport their poops out into the ether. But yeah, people have to wake up. Like, maybe you got to have like a hypo spray on the end table to like juice yourself up.
Yeah.
And then you got to run to the transporter room. I assume they have like drills to make sure everyone knows how to like get to their closest transporter as fast as possible.
Probably, but I would feel at least some people would be naked, you know.
Also, if need be, the transporter operator can find where a person is on the ship and transport them from there.
Ah, okay.
I think it's a little more complicated, so they don't do it very often, but so that helps.
Then I would be okay with it.
Somebody's naked in the shower and they appear like in a place on the starbase totally naked.
Yeah, probably. Maybe they have a shower room where they transport everyone.
They look around. Wow, the shower got bigger.
But you can take it from anywhere, but can you place them anywhere? I suppose you can, because they teleport them down to planets all the time. So
yeah, anywhere that's unshielded, I guess.
Okay, then it's fine. Just put them in the bathroom.
Put all the nudes in one area.
Put them in the sauna.
Yeah, turns out Riker and Picard are still on the ship. The Enterprise's magnetic field is regenerating, and the ship is leaving. We get that funny whoosh sound happening again. The ship reverses, then warps away. And it's some fucking great music right there. Listen back, it's awesome. Red alert sounds, empty corridors. This is where I first noticed the directors really having fun zooming around the ship. Riker's telling Minuet a story, and Minuet is super into him. And Picard can't help commenting on Minuet's verisimilitude. She already knows what I want her to say before I know it myself. And Picard explains how it might work. Riker says, I could develop feelings for Minuet exactly as I would for any woman. And Picard's philosophy is that we fall in love with the illusion of a woman before we ever really know her. I mean, I guess that's true. It happened to me recently, so.
I mean, I think that's for everyone, that it's like that. Just the idea that it's like kind of, I don't know if illusion is the right word, but you know, just like maybe the fantasy or something, like for the person as well, you know, that they want to be the.
Yeah, I mean, you know so little about them, so your brain has to fill it in with something. Yeah,
and the other person is also gonna try to be like the best person, or not even the best, but you know, like kind of if it's like an illusion, it's like both people are keeping the illusion, I suppose. It's like with the Gone Girl, you know? It's like that.
Oh, Gone Girl. So Minuet asks Picard to stay because for some reason he wants to leave. Oh, because Riker's obviously vibing with Minuet, so he's like, I should dip. And she starts freaking out. She really needs him to stay. And Picard's super sus.
Yeah, sorry. I'm just interrupting.
Oh, please.
I was just going to say that she could have summoned another woman and be like, here, you can talk to this one.
Have you met my sister?
Yeah, you know, because he liked the program, you know, just be like, oh, you can sit over there at the other table.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would work.
His sister should just be Janeway from Voyager, because you know the captain would love to date another captain, because he could actually like vibe on the same level.
Yeah. They always show, so far they have just showed like this kind of more historical characters. I wonder if they could fake being a modern person as well. I assume so.
Yes, absolutely. There are whole storylines where they're in a simulation like a battle sim or something on the ship, so they don't have to wear any special uniforms. It's pretty great. So the computer explains the red alert, what's going on. Riker and Picard are freaking out, and it gives the coordinates. The destination is planet Bynars in the Beta Magellan system, and they realize the Bynars have stolen the Enterprise.
So did they use the wormhole or whatever, like the warp speed? No, I'm confused. Like, because if they're just traveling through real space, they are not having like the warp drive, right?
No, they did definitely use warp. They got the engine back on and then went, because the whole antimatter containment thing was fake.
Oh, yeah. So while they were in this holodeck, the warp drive was on. But then they could still call the other people in the crew. Can you call across the space so far away?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the distance is, but yeah, they've contacted people while under warp before. Something about subspace.
It just felt weird because the way that their communication works, it feels so much like some kind of walkie-talkie. So I'm like, why can the walkie-talkie be like several solar systems away? But I suppose it's not. It's still the same. It's still going through the ship. So
yeah, the ship's computer probably routes it however it needs to.
Yeah.
But that suggests that the communications officer is a bit redundant.
Yeah.
So they look at Minuet with grave suspicion. She admits that she was the lure. Picard's like, well, what do they want with me? And she's like, your being here was just a fortunate happenstance. Now, this breaks the episode because the Bynars would have known that it takes two people to run a console for their computer. So if Riker was there alone, what would they have done?
Yeah, you're right. That does make sense.
So they leave the holodeck. Back on the starbase, Data asks after the nearest vessel. It's 66 hours away. Now, according to what we learned in Star Trek Voyager, it takes about one full day to go about 3 light years. So to go 66 hours away, that's like 3 days basically. At maximum warp, that's 9 light years. That's a whole long way away for the nearest vessel. So, and this is the thing on Star Trek all the time, is that the Enterprise is always the closest vessel to any crisis.
I guess it doesn't necessarily mean that it is. It's just that the crisis that it's involved in is the ones that are told. You know, it could be other crises where they're not involved and then there's no story. They could just have one
Right?
episode where they're like, oh, we were not the closest one. Okay.
Yeah, this one that's 66 hours away, maybe they're in the middle of like the wildest Trek episode ever, but we'll just never see it.
Yeah.
Picard and Riker go to the weapons room, and the captain gives a new log. Picard and Riker go down to engineering to set the self-destruct sequence.
That also felt very short.
Yeah, apparently you can't set the countdown to any different number. It's only 5 minutes.
Oh, okay. I didn't get it.
I believe they changed that after this incident. You can set it to whatever.
Why would they need a countdown? Like, I feel like they should have some kind of voice command, that.
That comes eventually as well. Like in Star Trek Picard, there's a moment where he just ends the countdown with a vocal thing. But back in this time period, they just set it, probably because they just wanted it to be 5 minutes and didn't think, well, it could be any amount. But it gives them enough time to get to the bridge and turn it off if they need to. Oh, I think the reason why there is a time is because in case one of them gets incapacitated, the sequence could still keep going instead of a pirate like shooting one of them and telling the other one to turn it off, It's a security feature.
I agree. It's like if none, but they can still, I don't know. I feel like, okay, no, I don't have a specific complaint. I just felt it was a little bit clunky.
It may be based on something real, like on nuclear submarines. Maybe the codes to self-destruct are require two people to turn them on and off.
I was thinking about nuclear warheads. That's because they have the two people authentication. But I don't know if like you need two people to abort. I hope not. But you need two people to agree.
Weirdly, the computer for the self-destruct sequence has a male voice instead of Rachel Barrett.
Oh, yeah, that is weird.
On their way out of engineering, they notice that an enormous amount of data is being stored on the ship. But they don't have time to figure it out. So they mob through the halls. Bridge access is denied. Riker says, I could transport in, and he's like, nah, it takes a while to form up, and they could pounce on you. So instead, they transport to two different areas and hope only one of them gets shot. Data thinks he's responsible for this because he should have been on the bridge. Geordi says, you can't be on the bridge every second, Data. He says he shouldn't have been painting. Basically, it's frivolous. And Yar talks him down, says it could have happened wherever he was. So, yeah, I thought that was interesting. It's kind of a lesson that children learn, but they're having to teach Data. Even though I must repeat, he's been in Starfleet for 25 years.
They did not learn. But I think it's a little bit different in that, like he said, he doesn't need to rest. So he should have different rules for himself. It's like, I should do better, than a normal human, kind of.
He should take his easel onto the bridge and paint while he's in command.
Oh, yeah, totally. He could be there. I don't know, maybe it's unprofessional. But that was also what I meant with, the episode is a little bit of a weird mix because this little subplot is not really connected to anything and doesn't have like any payoff. It's just like, oh, I feel bad.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're like, we should get over there. And they're like, we're stuck. Whoops. There goes our B plot. So they set their phasers to stun Riker and Picard, and they come onto the bridge. The Bynars are passed out in a clump. One of them rouses, real groggy, and Picard says, why did you steal my ship? And they basically say they need help and pass out again. We see that the ship is over this big blue planet. The auto-destruct is near 2 minutes to go, and they cancel it.
Mm-hmm.
Picard checks out the Bynars. Turns out they look dead. And they check out the computer on Bynars, and it's the main computer that they all interact with is off. Everything's inert. And they could be witnessing the death of this entire species. They try to figure out what all the data is that the Bynars put on the ship. Every byte of free space in the computer is filled. There's a password, so they can't get into the computer to
is it a password? It's like they don't know the name of the file. That's, I think, what it
that's
says.
Right. Yeah, there's some file that will help them, that'll help them connect with the planet's computer.
Yeah.
And they need some kind of file name to get in there. So they rush down to the holodeck to talk to Minuet. They learn that a star in the Bynar system went supernova, and I go, a star? Like, normally there's just one star in a system.
Strange
that it seems like if one went supernova, it would impact the other one, but...
Probably, yeah. What would happen if, like, a nearby star went supernova? Would that also hurt the nearby solar system?
Theoretically, but it would take hundreds of thousands of years, right?
Oh, yeah.
It would take a long time.
That's true. And they would probably be able to know because they are traveling above light speed. So they could just travel there and warn them.
Yeah. So it turns out they're using the Enterprise kind of like an external hard drive. They upload everything important to it, and then it'll be sent back to the computer. And I guess at some point in that interim is when the supernova happened. So maybe it's like an EMP that would have wiped out their computer or all the information on their computers.
Yeah.
So they were able to do this transfer to restore. I would assume the most important information. They couldn't put a whole planet's worth of data on the ship, I don't think.
Yeah, that seems, but maybe... I guess it depends. Maybe there's some way to comprise it a lot. You know, if maybe they are very similar people, so they can just have, like, they all have access to very similar information, maybe.
Yeah, that makes sense. So Minuet doesn't know why the Bynars didn't ask for help. And Picard says something like, it must be right in front of our faces. And this is when I was like, that is so on the nose. Because I was thinking the password was going to be Minuet.
Yeah, I also thought so.
So they go back to the bridge. Picard raises Starbase 74, talks to Data. And this is when he says the access would be available by code or password in groups of 8 or 16 characters. Even numbers, I assume, because they're Bynars. And I'm just like smiling, waiting to see what they come up with. So they're tinkering around, and Riker's putting in the password, but it's not working until Picard sits down and they work together. I realize the password isn't Minuet, and I'm like, God damn it, this episode sucks.
All ruined.
The computer reboots. Bynars wake up. They look real happy.
Our world is reactivated. Our people express their gratitude. We will return to your starbase for whatever punishment your system requires of us.
Picard asks why they didn't ask for his help. They say, you might have said no. And Picard or Riker says for them there are only 2 choices. So they don't do shades of gray, apparently. Picard doesn't seem to be interested in punishing them, but he is excited to work the piloting chair. He's like, it's been some time since I had the con. Says warp 2, and I'm like, why are we going slow? Why don't we go maximum warp to get back to the station faster?
What is the maximum warp?
Maximum warp is 9.9, I think.
Oh, okay. Then 2 is very slow.
Yeah.
Maybe he
I
was
think
rusty.
about this all the time. I think maybe instead of being incremental, the numbers are logarithmic like they do with seismic numbers. So like, what do you call it? 8, seismic number 8, whatever that's called, is like absurdly bigger than a seismic 3 event rather than just 5 bigger, but I'm not sure.
But then it would be even bigger difference, between 9 and 2.
Right. Yeah, so that doesn't work. I know the reason why they don't go at maximum is because they don't have engineers in engineering to fix all the problems that happen if you go too fast. But it still seems pretty slow. But maybe Starbase 74 is really close.
Yeah, I think that would make sense because it did feel like, but that was just because they were calling each other that I felt like they were very close.
Yeah. So back at Starbase 74, the crew comes on. They're keeping Bynars on the station for some kind of reprimand. And Riker goes to talk to Minuet, and it's not her. He's super bummed. She doesn't even respond to Minuet's name. So it's a total Westworld, that means nothing to me kind of statement or situation.
Oh, yeah, that's true. It is a little bit like that.
Doesn't look like anything to me.
I think I was very relieved because it's not good to have this ChatGPT woman.
The super sex bot.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's gone for good. Riker tells Picard, like, I tried a bunch of times. She never came back. And he says, number one, some relationships can't work.
She'll be difficult to forget.
Man. Falling in love is a pain in the ass, whether computerized or otherwise. And that's it. That's the show.
Yeah.
What did you think?
I liked it. I was like, I think that I liked the aliens the best. And you disliked the aliens. So maybe we had the exact opposite. You were like, I like this AI chatbot and I don't like the aliens. And I was the opposite.
I think it's just because they were shifty and they were trying to get one over on my friends. It's like there's an episode of Voyager where these fucking bucket hat motherfuckers take over the ship. When they smile the whole time they do it, and I just want to kick them.
I mean, yeah, it's interesting because I've disliked some other aliens before, when they've been very shifty. But these ones, I think that when I watched them, I didn't get the impression that they were at all, that they had any ill intent. I thought that they had somehow screwed up this procedure. So I thought that was like an interesting, misdirection. I didn't think that they did it on purpose. So I like the mystery of it.
They had a good motivation rather than wanting to just steal a starship kind of thing.
Yeah, that's true. I felt like it was maybe a nice, Star Trek message, that it was not like, oh, these are underhanded, weird aliens, that they had like very nice reasons.
Yeah, and I think making them unusual looking was kind of a way to subvert that sort of thing. Star Trek is good at sometimes making humanoid looking aliens the bad guys and vice versa. I believe there's one episode where a character is like, how could the pretty ones be evil? But yeah, there's plenty of pretty evil people in the world. So that's 11011001. They should have called it Minuet, right?
Yeah, probably.
Honestly, Data should have been learning how to play music. They could have really done the whole mathematical thing more. There's just a lot of connecting threads that might have been there in later seasons that they didn't even try to sync up the A plot and the B plot.
Yeah, I agree. I guess it did feel a little bit weird, but I didn't feel like it was. I enjoyed the small parts that we got, even though they didn't really pay off. So I think it could have been more annoying if it was something where you really felt like it was building. Like with the B plot, I mean, is that it felt very small and just like some side trivia. But I agree.
Yeah.
I think it could have been cool if it's like, oh, like I'm also gonna learn music or this kind of thing.
Yeah. So I think the main reason why I needed to watch this again and why I wanted you to see it is to see that Riker is a horny devil. That's pretty much it. And also to see Picard enamored with a woman. We don't get to see that very often.
Yeah, that's true. I did think about a side thing, if I can ask. Maybe
Please.
It's because I was wondering when they showed all the people evacuating, it made me wonder how big the staff is, because we see so few main characters, and then they show like the bridge, they show engineering, and then I'm thinking like, where are all these people working? Are there lots of other departments in the ship?
Yes. So number one, the ship is huge. I think the multiple transporter rooms tells us like kind of how many officers there would have to be. There'd have to be 2 for every transporter room in an evacuation situation. So that's 40. Then there have to be security teams to round everybody up and funnel them into transporters. So say that's like 4-person teams. So you got another 80 there, and probably double that with engineering and all the other departments. So we're looking at like 250 maybe, and all the rest are civilians, scientists, kids, all that. Those ratios could be a little different, but yeah.
Yeah, so they are different kinds of scientists. So like, because they talk to the historian scientists, so maybe they have like all these different, when they go to different planets, they will have different scientists who are like interacting with it.
Right, and they aren't necessarily Starfleet members. And then also like they might be the husband or partner of another Starfleet officer. That's one of the benefits of such a large ship, is that they get to bring their families.
Yeah, that's true. But I guess I wasn't sure about, I felt like because we don't really see the other people doing anything. So then I wasn't sure why they were there. But I understand if this is like a research vessel, of course they can't just have the people who run the ship. They have to have the people who do the actual research. But like we see, like Dr. Crusher, she is like the doctor of the ship, or one of the doctors. I don't know.
I assume there have to be at least 3 to like work shifts where she's not working.
Yeah, I think so.
But we never meet them.
I guess they would have like, maybe they have some different, like you said, different shifts and stuff. But what I mean is that they would also probably be a lot of like research doctors, but they are not. Like I feel like medical would be part of the research probably. And she is also interested. She wants to talk to this guy, the Epstein guy, about research, So maybe she's doing research as well.
Okay, I'm finding wildly divergent numbers here for the crew, like how many people are on the ship. The
Just
Enterprise
count the
normally had a
windows.
complement. It normally had a complement of approximately 1,000 to 6,000 crew members, including civilian residents and families. There's never a breakdown of what the percentage is. And this is the first I've ever heard of there being more than, say, 1,000 and change. Maybe that's in a like planetary evacuation situation.
Oh, yeah. That could be. Maybe it fits 6,000.
Ooh, in a original series episode, Kirk claimed there to be more than 400 crew on the original Enterprise, and that didn't have any family members, so that might give us a baseline. So not under half are crew people, and those aren't necessarily officers. They have a few enlisted personnel, but they're rarely mentioned. Anything else?
Yeah, I was thinking last episode I was trying to find the term for high ceiling, but I realized later that you don't have it. It's like a Swedish term where you want to have, like, in the organization, people are allowed to speak their mind freely.
Yeah.
And then the idea is, like, you say, like, it's a high ceiling, but it's like, it's not society in general. It's only if you have like a specific organization. So I was thinking about this with the data lore. I was complaining that Picard was just like being too much fussy, about the, like, how people express themselves or something. But so then I was thinking I wanted to make like high ceiling score, but I don't know what this one would be because there's not a lot of people around. So, but I think it's pretty high ceiling score because Picard is like, encouraging people and also telling Riker like, oh, you should relax, trying to give like a nice, this kind of nice atmosphere where people feel safe and such. So I think that's good for high ceiling score.
Yeah, maybe it's normally a high ceiling, but when Wesley talks, the ceiling comes down.
Oh yeah, which I think that it's good that they establish in the very start that Picard hates children, so then it's like a little bit more, a good foundation.
Shut up, Wesley.
Well, that is it. Another fine episode. Next time we're going to skip a couple that are just not good. We're going to go to episode 18, Coming of Age. Wesley endures the grueling Starfleet Academy entrance exam.
Oh.
And Captain Picard faces an investigation into his competency as a commander. So it's basically kind of like a verbal clip show as his choices earlier in the season are challenged.
Mm-hmm. Did they not have any budget to make a real one? So this is like a clip show. It's like
we'll
with
find
the
out. There's
sitcom.
a funny face alien with a mouth prosthetic, so we'll see. We'll see what the budget looks like.
Yeah, but what I mean is like all of the clips will be from previous episodes.
Oh, I don't know if it's a real clip show. I think they just kind of talk about, the investigator is challenging his decisions.
I see. Yeah, we'll have to see then. Or I will have to see.
They don't have a traditional clip show until might be the end of the first season. But they're doing a medical experiment or something to Riker, and they run clip shows on The Greatest Generation. Anytime they put something on somebody's head, now they call it a clip show device. It's just a weird thing they put on his head. But that's that. So if you're up for more TNG, that'll be the next one.
Yes.
Well, I would encourage all our listeners to check out our other coverage of movies and all kinds of stuff. Did the Never-Ending Story. We're looking at doing Return to Oz. We might check out a Red Dwarf episode at some point. So stay tuned, and please listen to my other podcast, Shattered Worlds RPG. It is a actual play sci-fi space opera set in the world of my books. So check that out. And yeah, I think... Oh, and Omniversal Escapades, which I do on Twitch every other Sunday at 6:30 Pacific. And you can find that at twitch.tv/Omniversal Escapades. And all those episodes are archived on youtube.com/Omniversal Escapades. You can find me everywhere at El Jefe Tacoma. And check out our Facebook page, like, follow, all that stuff. And please tell your friends all about us. We'd love to have more ideas, more guests, more co-hosts, the whole thing. So please be in touch. greatandSecretKnowledge@gmail.com is the email. Sophia, anything else?
I guess if we have any recommendations or such.
Oh, shit. I totally skipped recommendations. Yes, please give me something.
I was thinking about it before, thinking like, do I have any media recommendations? And I don't think so, because I've just read things, either I reread them or I've been, reading things that I find only okay. But I could give another recommendation, which is I have been checking out this software service, I guess, because I've been setting things up for my business. And then they have this really interesting nonprofit, which are doing this, Google free, open source solutions for different types of programs. And they're called Framasoft. And they are doing this, like, if you want to have, like, for example, meetings, they have like a meeting service that you can use for free. And if you want to have do different things like edit PDFs, they have like this online platform where you can edit the PDFs. A bunch of different things, like a lot of different tools. And they are based in France, and they are doing this like a nonprofit to be able to get people access to these different digital tools without having to sell their data.
That's awesome. I'm going to check that out. If you would, could you drop a link in our Discord chat?
Yeah.
Perfect. I could definitely use something that doesn't send my data. My recommendation is a nominee for this year's Hugo, which I just found out I'll be going to Worldcon, where they vote on the best novels of the year. And this is one of them, Someone You Can Build a Nest In. It's got great female characters. It's got a shapeshifter as the main character. There's this whole thing about, is the monster the real monster, or is it human beings? It's got all kinds of great themes and characters and action, magic. It's tremendous. So check that out. That's written by John Wiswell. And yeah, next week I'll be going to Worldcon, so I'll be talking about that on the show. It'll be my first. It's in Seattle. So I'm going to try to read all the novels before then so I can vote.
Oh, did you vote at the Worldcon?
Yeah, that's how the Hugo is decided. I don't know how you get nominated, but like everybody votes on of the nominees who should be the winner.
But you don't have to be physically there to vote.
No, that's the only way you can vote.
Oh, weird. I didn't know this. I just heard people talking about it in the... Maybe they didn't mean that they vote, because this is confusing.
Well, maybe when the pandemic, when they were doing it virtually, they might have had virtual voting. But you probably had to pay for the privilege. I think because it was always a writers' convention, kind of, so they just assumed everybody that cared would come to the thing.
Yeah, I might have just misunderstood it. I didn't realize that this was like voting on this physical spot. That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if they require you to read everything before voting. But yeah, I might even, if I get done with all the novels, I'll try the short stories or TV episodes or whatever else. But yeah, I'm excited. So let's end this one with a quote.
The quote is like.
Perfect. Most memorable part of this episode.
A huge thanks to James Lark of jameslark.co.uk for providing our wonderful theme song. Thank you, James.
They work very quickly, but it'll be very tight.
Shut up, Wesley.